This is Yerushalmi Berachos Daf Nun Zayin in the article Oswald edition, which corresponds to somewhere in the top half of the Amud and Lamed Tesam base in the Vilna edition. All right, the top. You have to have at least three Havdalos. We do three. As to Ben Yom Shesh Masa, we're going to talk about that in a moment. So we do. It's not less than three distinctions. I feel no less than three. Of those, no more than seven. There has to be distinctions which are found explicitly in the Torah. He said that Avdallah, I feel Avdallah Achas, even one Avdallah. Rabbi Avod, Tzarich L'achton B'Avdallah. You have to be chosein b'havdalah. So the Rashi brings down the Bavli Imsochit, which says that according to the interpretation Gemara, according to that Bavli, which is that that we say at the end, that is not part of the three Avdalos, four of those. It's a me'ena chasima samel chasima. It's similar to the signature immediately before you sign off the bracha. So that is the Tzarech L'achton B'Avdallah. That should be the last mention of Avdallah should be the Avdallah itself, and therefore that's why it doesn't count for the three. Raimana Bay, Raimana asked, "Me'ata a few pasal ma mavdil ben mavdil l'kodesh l'chol." So you should be able to begin with the Baruch HaMavdil ben Kodesh L'chol and end with HaMavdil ben Kodesh L'chol, right? Baruch HaMavdil ben Kodesh L'chol ben Ochodsha ben Yisrael ben Yom Shesh Zemaaseh Baruch HaMavdil ben Kodesh L'chol, right? So if you're going to have Avdalus in the beginning, you already said Mavdil Kodesh L'chol at the beginning. When you repeat it at the end, it seems to be redundant, right? So, so he says, yeah, okay, but it's one of the brachos which you open with the baruch and end with the baruch. So that's the way it goes, even though it's the same language. But that's the since you have to be chosim a baruch, very often that happens. That's going to be redundant. And the Chareim brings down another example. Says Bishloi Pasal Baruch Atah Hashem Avdil Ben Orel Choshim Ben Yisrael HaGoyim B'Yom HaShvi Sheishim Ben Maaseh Shai B'Chosim Baruch Atah Hashem Avdil Ben Kodesh L'chol. Ben Keflenia. Avol L'Vchol Dog Baruch Atah Hashem Avdil Ben Kodesh L'chol Chosim Chosim Bo Havi Kefel. It's a question because it's redundant to do it the same way twice. Takes the time. It's not so astonishing. That's the way it happens very often. Should place him a Baruch Baruch Atah Hashem Yotze Or V'Chosim Yotze Maros. Also, similar chasima to say what you said in the bracha. Baruch Hashem Hashem Ro Mariv Arvim Chesed Mariv Aravim. Abi Shekana Loshin Shabbat Gamrei. Very awesome. Even though here it's more exact than those. Lech Baslan, it's the same general principle that yes, sometimes the chasima bracha can be something which is redundant with something in the text of the bracha. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Elazar ben Antigonus b'shem Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yanai. Zosa Meres, that which is we said before, that you have to say B'Mav Del Tefillah, and then you have to say the Matbea Bracha. In other words, you have to, according to that opinion, which you say as Avdallah before Hatachon. Right, so it means also the Lasas Machi Avdil Kavasa, because it's similar to Asla Adam to the Lasas Machi Avdil. It would be easier to reverse the lines of the Gemara and say that from the fact that Asla Adam to the Lasas Machi Avdil, from there, right, we learn out that it's also to be Tabei Tzracha. This way it works as well. Okay, Rabbi Zir, Rabbi Elazar ben Antigonus, Rabbi Elazar b'Shem, Rabbi Yana b'Shem, Rabbi Yehuda b'Rebbe. All those said, Im lo yidim motzei Shabbos mavdi afil b'chamisha b'Shabbos. Maybe Havdalah on the on Thursday. That's only the bracha of a mavdi. Brichas barim ereish amram yad yav say emilia motzei Shabbos. Ezir shem yudah Rav Yabu shem Abba Rabbeinu afil Yom Tov shchal yos emtza Shabbos. Even if there's Yom Tov middle of the week, but we don't say v'inoam because we don't have 7 days of work ahead of us. Omer ben Yom Shir Shesh L'Me'amasa. You still say between the 7th day and the 6th day, or 6 days a week. It's not going to be 6 work days this week. No, we're talking about generically. That's normally the case. So yes, what do you mean? How could it possibly be? You have 6 days of activity in front of you. How could it be? So yes, he retorted, V'chiesh tumah v'tara in front of? Is there tumah v'tara in front of him? Because according to one of those who add up to 7 havdalos, one of the havdalos is ben tumah v'tara. And this is a distinction which we don't usually come across nowadays. That's what I'm telling me. Or it could be that you'll be Torah the whole week. So what do you mean? That's going to come across tumah and tara, but it means generically there's such a concept, and therefore Matthew used as havdalah. So it's really the same thing between Yom HaShvi L'Sheish L'Mei HaMaaseh. Rabbi Chia Barashi, Rabbi Yirmiyah, Rabbi Zira B'Shem Rabbi Chia Barashi, v'yitzorech l'mar ha'chel es hayomim sheis L'mei HaMaaseh habrin l'kosei l'shalom. It's the version which we do say in our talking of Torah. You should bestow the coming days upon us for good. The show for peace, sorry. Rabbi Yabba Mosif, Hashmei B'em Sasan Simcha. Okay, we don't add these things. You should cause us to hear during these days joy and happiness. Rabbi Yirmiyah, Havinei Lamdeinu, give us understanding and teach us. Amen. Those who answer Amen, even those who answer Amen, to the Kiddush Havdalah, so they take a name because they name and air. Now, Havdalah specifically, obviously, because they're mentioned here. They have to look at the cup and they have to look at the candle. Our boss meaning Shabluav Nitolim Derek Dulan. It's kind of out of left field, but because Shem Rabbi Yirmiyah is saying that when you take the Arba medium on Sukkahs, do not be taken the way they grow, upright. Hello, Gimel. Somebody says that your rachamim was extended to the bird's nest, and may your name be mentioned for the good that you do. Modim, or it says modim twice. Mishachin, so we silence him. All these things have a whiff of heresy. Hopefully, the table who goes in front of the Omer, the Torah, makes a mistake, Yabar Chaytachto, but another person should take his place. For years, I'm supposed to show him that you're normally supposed to try to reject honors. In this case, don't take the time. You're already in the middle of the process. Ume'ainu maschil, where do you begin? Because from the beginning of whatever bracha, the first two made a mistake. It's probably more relevant when people down about past. So the first guy forgot the middle of davening, doesn't realize it, doesn't recall precise Sukkah davening, so the other guy will take over. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Pinchas Hashem Rabbi Simon, Kekore Taga Ridois Kodesh Baruch Hu. Why is it the Kansipa Yagirach Mecha is considered a bad thing to say? By the way, the Rambam and the Rambam and the Chumash, the famous one, they say Rabaska that way. Rabaska in this Gemara. We do say that Shliach, the Kansipa teaches us Rachamim, but that's a long discussion. But why would he probably according to Tagra Midos Kodesh Baruch Hu, it's like he calls foul on the Midos of Kodesh Baruch Hu. Al Kansipa Yirachamecha. Yeah, you had Rachmanis on the bird's nest, but also Yishami like Yirachamecha. So it's like claim Kodesh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol and Chaz Shalom inconsistent. Here's B'Shem Rabbi Noson. B'Shem Rabbi Simon says, "Kenosin Kitzvah Midos of Kodesh Baruch Hu." Then he gives a limit to the traits of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Ad Kansipa Yirachamecha. What I'm rachim, yeah, rachmanis until Kansipa, but not any much beyond it. Is tiny, those is al Kansipa Yirachamecha. Is tiny, ad Kansipa Yirachamecha. Manamar al They say Rabbi Pinchas. That's Rabbi Pinchas to say Yerachmanis on them, but not on us. Madamar ad said up to, so that's going on. To say Rabbi Yossi that until can see by Rachmi, not beyond that. Amar Rabbi Yossi Rabun, lo avdin tavu shosim. They don't do well when they say this. Avdin like midos Kosh Baruch Hu rachamim. They make Kosh Baruch Hu's midos all exclusively rachamim, and they're not all necessarily teachers rachamim. The way the Charedim puts it, she'ain elgin v'kteres melech al avodav. But there's the Gra Mishnah is an interesting zar, which says that the mitzvah of Shulach Ken is dafka mitzvah to be cruel, because the mother bird then goes and the she's and chicks are taken, commit suicide. So it's telling us that there's a makom for cruelty in this world. So when necessary, like kol merachim al zorim, some naseh achzar rachmani. Anybody who has rachmanis on a cruel person eventually will end up being a bestowing favor on at the end bestowing negative bestowals on a good person. So in any event, so the so that would be a little bit matched with the lashon here. It says rachamim, but they're not always rachamim. Sometimes you have to have a specific non-rachmi response when rachmanis becomes achzorius. Says the Gemara, "Bilan the Matarimin on those who translate Ami b'nei Yisrael kamad ana rachman b'shmaya," just like I'm a rachman in heaven. Can't have you in rachman arsot, so you should be rachmanim on land in the on earth. Turis or achila, an ox or a lamb. Yosavi asbro lo tichsun tarvem yom echad. You should not check both of them on one day. Lovdin tavus. They're not doing well. They're not doing good. Sheyosim bidosa shel Baruch Hu rachmim. They make me as Baruch Hu rachamim. So as Chai points out, they were talking about the pasuk shor kesem is kiboled. So that's no lo shchatu b'yom echad. So they translate it this way. They put in the meat of rachamim. It's a translation that's not considered to be appropriate. Again, the meal simidos shel Kosh Baruch Hu rachamim. Although that is the Rambam, as I said, the Rambam and Ramban hold that the Maskana. We do say that the lo nido mitzvah so tzar ben sabrios, and these mitzvahs were actually given us so we can make us rachmanim. Modi mashakil. So it says Modi twice we silence him. Rabbi Shmuel Baritzok ki yisacher pi dovrei sheker. We have to silence the mouths of those who speak falsehood, because Modim, as we know, seems to indicate that there are two gods, and we're saying Modim chas v'sholom to two gods. It says, however, and here's a big header for the briskers who say words over and over again in davening. And that's Tzibur. Rav Yochi says moidim as a way of arousing more kavanah. Seems to be okay. Okay. If you made mistakes in the first three brachas, go back and meaning of Shon Seika. So it'll still be one unit. Ada bar chana gniva shem rav. Ada bar chana gniva say name rav. Twelve b'shosh brachas ha'achronis chayz la'avoda. Maybe saying the last three brachas, you go back to the Seika, they're also 1 3 unit. And the Chem Barachuna b'shem rav. Twelve b'shosh brachas b'shonis chayz la'bitchila. Similar idea. Go back to the beginning. Twelve b'shosh brachas ha'achronis chayz la'avoda. Tov any other echon tov. You made a mistake, you don't know where you made the mistake. It happens, unfortunately, that somebody finds himself in the middle of Shemona Esrei and doesn't know how he got to the bracha where he is. So normally a person can assume that, Shigwa Delishna, he did it the right way. But if he has doubtful, he goes back to the last place, he knows that he said it. And made a mistake. You go back to the last place, you knew it was clear to you that you had said it correctly. Bar Pazi Yosfin, B'chad Kishel Sin Certain B'shul. Honestly, Avar Chad Kamoy Tevusa, a certain person went in front of the table of Ashkar Chad Bracha. They forgot one of the brachas. Asim Hashem Rabbi Simon, they came and asked Rabbi Simon, Amar Rabbi Simon Hashem Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi, Shir Tzibur Shehiz Gir Shtayim, Shalosh Brachas, Ein Machzir Oso. Even if Shalatir miss 2 or 3 brachas, we don't make him go back. And it says the Moshe Kaza Tircha de Tzibura. So even though we should make him go back, but we don't do so. So the Gemara says, on top of the Chesamav, Ashkach Tani Poli. Their extensions, their exceptions to this rule. Those who argue would say there are things where you go back. Since that's top of Nun Chesamav already, we'll see the different opinion next time we learn.